What's up, everyone? Welcome to Benched. My name is Joey, joined by my brother Coach Angel, and this is episode 220 of the Bench Podcast. Thanks as always for joining us. Combine's happening. The draft is just on the horizon. You can see it coming, but free agency, and we're going to start to see some tags soon. Got a lot of rumors swirling. You got people getting cut, people getting extended, playing with the cap space. It is full off-season mode. And I tell you what, we love it here at Bench. We absolutely love it.
Oh, yeah. This is when you start to combine your free agency lists, like your wish list for your team, with the draft prospects that you start to like. So you're like, let's save money at defensive back. Let's go sign somebody and then draft this guy. It's like in my head, like I'm a Bronco fan. I'm thinking like at 20, we get Genty. Let's skip out on Najee Harris and let's go draft someone, whatever. There's like a ton.
That's how Broncos there. Nice try.
Come on. It's my
head right now. It's a nice try. No, there's a lot going on. Ainge, thanks for coming today. If you're watching on YouTube, welcome to the channel. Please like, subscribe. Thanks so much for joining us for this. We're coming up on season 3 of the Bench Podcast. Whether you joined us the very first day or just within the last couple months, we're so thankful you joined us. We're so thankful that you're tuning in and listening and just loving football with us today. If you're listening on the audio version of the podcast, thanks for joining that as well. Of course, brought to you by the Fans First Sports Network. Don't forget to download BETR Picks app. Use our code BENCHD to get your first deposit matched up to $250 and a free pick from BETR Picks. Sports just got better.
There you go. Nice tagline.
Yeah.
There you go.
All right, so the combine's going on, and so it's kind of funny. The biggest stories from the combine so far have nothing to do with the guys running around in short shorts. No one cares. No one cares anymore.
It's kind of like just like glorified project, a show now, because it's not really about that. It's about the meeting of the minds of all the GMs and
what it reminds me of? It reminds me of when you're a parent and you're friends with all your kids' friends, and you're excited for the kids' birthday party, not because of kids. You could care less about what the kids are going to do or the presents are going to open. You want to see your boy. You want to hang out for a little bit with some free babysitting, and it's just a good time. And a lot of the stories coming out are from the interviews, from the word games going on already and negotiation. So it's going to be fun. A couple of things I wanted to talk about right off the bat. I know the biggest story so far the first couple of days was this whole backlash. Once again, here we are against the Tush Push. Last year, the league came out. I think it was Troy Vincent, ex-Eagle, by the way, but came out on the league's behalf and said, we're not going to outlaw the Tush Push. We see it as a football play. We don't see it as elevated injury risk. Of course, any play on the football field is an injury risk. They don't see it as an elevated injury risk. And so I thought that was the end of it. And yet here we are again, and we're about to vote on the Tush Push.
I don't understand it's a QB sneak. This has been happening forever. They're just a team like Nick Sirianni, head coach for the Eagles, said we work very hard on it. Yeah, it's a football play. It's not just you line up and you can just. They're not like they have something that every other team doesn't. They have a quarterback who's running quarterback. The Josh Allen's probably bigger, faster, stronger than Jalen Hurts. It's just they're better at it. Like it's a dumb thing to be mad about. It's almost it's so petty to be mad about a play that they're really good at. Like what do you shut up?
I gotta find a video here, but there's a video circulating of Jordan Love attempting this attempting a Tush Push. And it's pretty funny. I'm gonna pull it up. But the two guys who are most against the Tush Push are from the teams where I remember them trying to Tush Push the most. Number one, the Packers, and that, excuse my language, that little bitch of a team president, whoever his name is, coming out. It's not a football play. It's not great optically, bro. Shut up. Like you're just mad that you couldn't do it because you tried to do it and you look like a damn fool. Tucker Kraft couldn't do it. Of course, Jordan Love couldn't do it. He looked ridiculous. Then the other guy who speaks up yesterday, Sean McDermott. No team ran the Tush Push more than the Bills. No team other than the Eagles ran the Tush Push more than the Bills. So explain that one to me.
Yeah, Josh, I remember a lot of games. Josh Allen always goes hikes the ball, goes over the left guard like he did for the last 2 years. Yeah, I don't know. The Bills run that play a lot. Like if you watch any Bills game this year, they run it like once a game. Josh Allen's pretty damn good at it. I don't.
Yeah.
It's just petty. You know, you don't see the Andy Reids, the Pete Carrolls, like the older statesmen saying this. It's just because they know if I don't play that's good. I'm not gonna say anything about it because this is gonna. It's just the dumbest thing I've ever heard. Is like get rid of a football play. It's a QB sneak. Everyone,
Yeah.
Tom Brady did it for 15 years. No one said anything about it, and Brady was pretty good at it.
Yeah, I just don't. It's not any more of an injury risk than any other play. Like I love how people keep citing that, and now it's been around now for a couple years. Yep. There's data, and I don't remember any major injury happening from the tush push.
No,
like that's just
for the Chris Jones
stupid
lined up.
That's just a stupid. It's just a stupid like thing to bring up anymore. It's like, well, it's been around, so show me the data where it's any more dangerous than any other play. Yeah. And then like as far as like the whole what's his name? The president of the Packers, I forgot his name.
Gutekunst?
It's not Gutekunst. That's a GM. The president. I forgot his name, but that's the guy who first came out against it. And it's just like I don't like the optics of it. Okay, so because you don't like the way it looks, a lot of people don't like the way a game goes when they just run the ball over and over again and play defense. So should we make people throw the ball now? Like,
yeah, some old school guys don't like that we throw the ball everywhere. Is that not optical enough for like? Are we trying to press you or the fans? Because obviously enough. Because obviously the NFL's making $1 billion every freaking game. The NFL likes it to some point.
Yeah. Okay. I was even thinking like because it's turned into a very exciting play because the defense, every defense wants to be the defense that stops it. Like they get juiced up. Like they want to. Like they get so excited if they stop it. I know Eagles tried a lot, and so it becomes like this real exciting. Like, is this? Are they gonna be able to stop this play? Like it's an exciting moment of the game now. Like it's just because if the Eagles hadn't made a Super Bowl run, we would not hear about this.
Yeah. Like they lost. Yeah, in the against the like Commanders, we wouldn't hear about it. But everyone's just salty because the Eagles won it, and they've been trying. Well, because of Tush Push. Not only they needed it once in the whole Super Bowl game. So I don't know what the. I mean, how many times did they do it in the postseason? Like, can you think on top of your head, Joey? How many times did they do it in the postseason?
We did it a couple times against the Rams, and a couple times against the Commanders.
But the Super Bowl guys did it, and that's the biggest game of the year. That's
the
most optical game of the year.
Yeah, I know. We did it against the Packers, which go figure, they're the ones complaining. But it just to me, it's just some weak stuff. Like it's such a weak look for you to be out here complaining about a play. Like it's just so weak to me. It's so petty. Move on. Like you have other things to worry about, Green Bay, than if the Eagles should be able to do one of the most unstoppable plays in the NFL. I mean, it's just I'm so freaking frustrated with these people. But whatever, let's move on. The other big news that came out today or yesterday was GM Chris Ballard of the Indianapolis Colts coming out and kind of making it a point to communicate that Anthony Richardson coming into this next year will be in a quarterback battle. We're not sure with who yet. We're not sure if it's going to be a veteran or a rookie or if they already have their eye on someone or someone in the building already. But he's going to be competing against someone. And it sounds like it's the beginning of the end, possibly, for Anthony Richardson if he doesn't step his game up.
Yeah. I wish to get the best, but I don't trust the Colts in this situation at all. So I don't think it's going to work. The Colts just don't have patience for it, and they say we're committed to it. But yeah, you tried out Flacco last year. Honestly, unless Anthony Richardson leaves, I'm not interested in Anthony Richardson because I don't trust the Colts to do this. It seems like it seems like.
What do you mean? Like they're not going to bring in the right guy?
They're not going to use him right, or they're not going to be patient enough. Like they're already not patient.
Oh, okay.
If you're patient enough, you would say no. Anthony Richardson is our guy. That's called patience. Not like we're going to bring someone in. What's that?
You would give him one more year?
Yes, and I wouldn't even make this a statement. I say no. Anthony is our guy. Done. We're not faith in him, but we're also going to bring someone else in like that, so you don't have faith in him.
Yeah,
like that. Like just stick to a guy, stick to a plan. This is what happens with last year with Flacco. You lost a plan, and he came back and look. Yeah, it's just I don't trust the Colts to make this work at all.
I do agree with you that it does seem as if they're making up as they go as far as the plan with Anthony Richardson. Not what you want when you draft a clearly project quarterback. Yeah, you'd like to think that there's a plan. They're going to stick to it, keep it in place. It does seem like they've wavered. But I don't mind this move right now, though, for Anthony Richardson, for the Colts. you've given him ample time. Like you've given him all sorts of time to figure it out. He literally did not get better in any metric last year, except for maybe he stayed a little more healthy. That's about it. Like completion percentage, everything. Literally, we've been through it as we ended the season. And so I think, all right, let's try to maybe motivate him with some competition. And that might be the last card they have. Maybe this is just, let's try one more thing. And if this doesn't work, then, we move on. I don't know if Anthony Richardson is a prospect that's shown that he deserves a couple more years to try to get this right. He hasn't gotten better. And I don't know if I'm against it so much. Maybe I just kind of out on Anthony Richardson myself. But we'll see. It's not like it's weird for a 23, 24-year-old quarterback to pop in his third year. That wouldn't be a strange thing. That'd be kind of, well, we've seen that before. Maybe we just a little impatient with Anthony Richardson, but we'll see. Those are the two stories really going on right now at the combine, as these coaches, these GMs, some team presidents speaking, and it's fun stuff. It's cool. It almost feels like the league is opened up. Obviously, it's the first league event of the year, and the league is opened up, and we're all eyes toward 2025, 2026. Which is good times.
Yeah, a lot of players are a lot of teams are giving these players leeway to go seek a trade. So a lot of draft day trades or June 1st trades I'm looking forward to. It's a pumped up time for like the NFL geeks, because this is like everything you want. Rumors, you want trade speculation, you want draft stuff. It's good. It's a good time of year.
This segment is brought to you by Dad Gang Hats. Dad Gang makes the highest quality hats in the apparel industry because they use premium materials, pay close attention to detail, and prioritize durability and comfort. With so many styles, colors, and designs, they absolutely have the right hat for you and the dad in your life. Use code BENCHED76826, that's BENCHD 76826, for 15% off your first purchase. Shop Dad Gang Hats, quality hats for quality dads.
Okay, so for today's show, we've been going through the perfect offseason for every team by team, division by division in the NFL. On today's show, we are diving into the AFC East. That's the Jets, Dolphins, Patriots, and Bills. A lot of fun this division was, actually. I didn't really realize how fun this would be putting these rosters together. I had a good time. I took the Patriots and the Dolphins, right? And you took the Jets and the Bills.
Yeah.
And I think it was a good time. I think we made these teams into at least some contenders. A lot of these teams, it almost feels like we're going to need to strip away a little bit, like take two steps back so that we can go forward in a healthy way. But we'll kind of talk about it. Let's dive into this right now and start with the New York Jets. This was your team to take, the New York Jets, $24 million in cap space. And right off the bat, Angel, go ahead, shake up the world. Why don't you?
All right, the Jets were like a fun one because you have new head coach Aaron Glenn. You have a whole new regime. The washing of the Aaron Rodgers sagas, just about done. So you want to start over, Aaron Glenn, new vibes. Garrett Wilson might say, might not, but at least you kind of know Aaron Rodgers, Devontae Adams, Allen Lazard kind of out the door. So this cap number, obviously, it's a projected $24 million, but it could go up, obviously, with Aaron Rodgers leaving, with Devontae Adams being traded or leaving, and the Allen Lazard potential cut. So I'm just playing with what I have now. $24 million was what was enough, and I think the first thing you have to do for any franchise, figure out who your quarterback is. Figure out who you want the leader of your team to be for the next 5 to 10 years, or even like a short-term guy. And there's a guy out there, a incredible prospect, an incredible quarterback, incredible talent that no one's appreciating. And I think Aaron Glenn sees this and sees his draft picks. Sees that he can't get to top 3 or top 4. So let me get the best available young quarterback in the market. And that's Justin Fields, quarterback, Chicago, and obviously last year, Pittsburgh Steelers. I think it gives you kind of a like what Pittsburgh was last year. They're a run-heavy team. It gives you offensive identity immediately. You have Justin Fields, Breece Hall, and Braylon Allen. Like those are 3 good running players. But that's kind of where I start. I mean, are you for them not moving up? And that pick number 7. So I don't think moving up might cost them too much, and I don't think they want to give up a lot. I feel here's a nice pick.
I think Cam Ward and Shedeur Sanders are the only guys I'd move up for. And even then, Like, I don't think those guys go past, pick 4 or 5. I don't know.
Yeah.
They're picking number 7. So that would take a little bit to move up into that, to take a prospect that I don't know very many people are in love with. I've heard a lot of these analysts talk about Cam Ward and Shedeur Sanders, and they're not the type of prospects that we typically see going top 3 in the draft. They're just the best of this draft, and so by default they're going to go first. But I don't know if I trade up for someone like that. It's not just having a quarterback; it's having a guy who you can see, leading your team to championships, playoffs, whatnot. And so that's a long way of saying no. I wouldn't trade up. I would much rather take a flyer on a Justin Fields or there's a couple of other like younger quarterbacks that are still trying to find their way that teams haven't committed to. I think Will Levis probably deserves another shot as well, and I think a couple other guys like that. If Justin Fields is the guy you're going to take a shot at, sure. I think you do have an immediate offensive identity kind of by default because you have to play into Justin Fields' strengths if you're going to bring him in. You do have 2 really good running backs, and you got to fix that O-line. But it's an identity right away, and I don't hate it. I mean, I think Justin Fields is one of the few young athletes that could handle the New York media. Like he's a pretty reserved kind of level guy. He reminds me of Jalen Hurts a lot in that way, the way he handles the media, the way he's not, overly eccentric either way. He's kind of just a steady guy, great with the media. So yeah, I don't mind it here, Justin Fields.
Yeah, I think
question for you.
Yeah.
Sorry. So Spotrac had him getting 1 year, $6 million, and that's obviously like a backup contract. I actually think there's going to be a couple of teams vying for his services this upcoming year because the price is going to be low. So it's kind of like I'll take a flyer now that the price is super low and I don't got to pay him 4 or 5 years, even 3 years. Do you think anyone gives them like maybe 2 or a third year, even just trying to win a what's it called? A bidding war?
Yeah, I mean, the Jets were the first team that came to mind, and I know probably like the Raiders if they can't move up or they can't if George doesn't fall, but the Jets just feel like a team that wants to win now. They want their like the Woody Johnson comments that like preseason, postseason have been like all about winning now, and I think they would give Fields a 2-year deal. I think this is one of the most desperate teams out there just because they want to be relevant, because they want to be in the limelight again. And like I said, right now it's $24 million in cap space projected. Get rid of Aaron Rodgers, get rid of Devontae Adams, that boosts up. So I think they can go to a bidding war with just about anybody and sell him on the new head coach, New York. You could be in the spotlight, have a team again, and that's kind of where I am with the Jets. Like they just want to win. I feel like Fields is like it's basically Fields and Darnold, and I don't really see Darnold going back to the New York media. So I think this is a nice fit.
How do you feel about him getting like a Geno Smith contract, like a 3-year, $50 million, something like that? Because he showed last year, like he won games. He looked really good. Like he ran the ball well. He did what was asked of him. They didn't ask him to throw the ball that much. I don't know if you can knock him for that. He's shown he can throw the ball. Go watch Chicago Bears tape. But do you think anyone commits to him like that?
3 might be too much, even for me. I think he's a bridge with potential to be more. It's hard to find those quarterbacks where like it could be a guy, or it's gonna be a guy for now, but it could be like a Baker Mayfield turned out to be for Tampa Bay. So 1-year deal, and they end up being their franchise quarterback. I think it's a good fit. And honestly, Joey, what's the difference between the roster that the Jets have this year and the Pittsburgh Steelers roster have last year? One wideout, Pickens, Garrett Wilson, a stable of good to a great running backs, and a shaky O-line. It's the same fit that the Pittsburgh Steelers had last year when Justin Fields was the starting quarterback, and he was 4-2. Like it's it's nearly the same. Like you probably like Breece Hall more than Najee Harris, right? And Garrett Wilson and George Pickens are kind of the same tier. So that's kind of where it's the same thing. It's just with a team that will commit to him. There's no Russell Wilson here to kind of hide in the background and wait for his turn. It just Fields' team.
Right. Yeah, I think it's a good place for Fields to get a new start. I like it.
Yeah, so then let's move on. And now, because it depends on whether we spend big money on Fields. I give bunch of kind of mid players with the potential to be more. I'll start with my guy Darius Slayton. It's about time this guy got paid. Him next to
Yeah.
Garrett Wilson. That's a nice one too. That's not great, but it's nice. You recovered from
Is
the
Darius Slayton better than Alan Lazard?
yes, yeah.
Eh,
Yeah, I'm a big Slayton guy, and if this happens, I'll go out on a limb. Even if he doesn't go, if he goes to like I don't know, like the Eagle or a team with a quarterback, I think he makes fantastic numbers, and I like Fields, so I like they're saying a lot. And then the next guy I have is kind of been one of the most underrated safeties in the league, Julian Blackman. He kind of could do everything. He plays center field well. He could play up in the box.
yeah.
I think
He's
last
young too.
year. Young, and last year you saw when he had no playmakers in the secondary, specifically in those two safety spots for the Jets. I think he's a nice. You could give him a nice, decent contract and feel better and feel good because he could be even more. Because you already know how I feel about the Colts and how about how they have talent but they never actually use it right. I think Blackman is a nice guy where you can. It's kind of a safe floor, but a very very high ceiling because he can do almost everything. So those two guys, those kind of guys, Darius Slayton and Julian Blackman, kind of youngish guys that have potential to be more. I think this is kind of guys that Aaron Glenn would like because we're like his whole thing is I can coach up anybody to be better. That's what he did last year with this with that Lions defense. I think with these two guys,
Right.
there's always potential to be more. And then the last guy is kind of a bargain bin, DJ Jones. Last year they got tore up on the run. So you want to become a tougher team. You got to start up the middle. DJ Jones, a very good run stuff for obviously pair him with Quentin Williams, and then I'll tie this in with my draft pick, defensive lineman Mason Graham. So I think if you draft Mason Graham, tough guy, DJ Jones, tough guy, next to Quentin Williams, you have the makers a very strong front, which is what Aaron Glenn always wants. So that's what they had there with DJ Reed and not DJ Reed, DJ Reader and McNeil there in with the Lions. So I think you start building like a very strong front. You have Quentin Williams, Mason Graham, DJ Jones with obviously those linebackers. I think you start building a tough guy front, which is what Aaron Glenn wants to do. He wants to be a tough football team. And you got to build it from the trenches up.
Yeah, it sounds like Aaron Glenn is coming in with like obviously Dan Campbell influence, but almost like a Pete Carroll. Like it's gonna be competition. It's going to be, buckle up, strap your helmet, like kind of an old school approach. And so, yeah, I think up front it's going to be dog mentality. I think it's a great fit with Justin Fields as well. Another point, like Justin Fields seems like that kind of guy as well. Yeah. And so, yeah, I don't mind literally tripling down on DT here with Quentin Williams and Jones and Graham. Jones is like he's well over 30, right? He's like a short term.
I think he's short term guy, but it's just a 1 year deal. But
no, not
Graham, obviously,
yeah. And I wonder, like, obviously they needed a fresh start, right?
Yeah,
they needed let's just wipe the slate. We failed. Let's try this again. And I wonder how long it takes for this Jets defense to look good again. Like this could possibly turn around pretty quickly for this defense. Like we know they're talented.
They have crazy amount of talent everywhere, and now it's just about getting the right coach because you saw what solid with the right coach. That defense was freaking elite. I think Aaron Glenn, maybe not to the solid level, but still a very good defensive coordinator, defensive mind. So yeah.
Okay. Well, that's the New York Jets. With this happening, right? And Aaron Glenn, add everything else. And let's say just a strong draft. Where do you see this putting the Jets?
Well, a team that runs the ball and plays good football. Yeah, I think they can get 9-10 wins easily. I think they're comparable to what the Steelers were last year. That's kind of what a very strong defense and a run first offense. I think that in the AFC, which is proven not to be as strong as we think. The AFC South disappointing. And then you have some teams that weren't like the. I don't think the Bengals will be bad again next year, but you never know because the AFC kind of tricked us all last year. So yeah, I think they could be 9-10 wins. Justin Fields finds a new home. Defense gets back on track. It's a good team. It's a good roster. This is what's nice about the Jets. It's not a bad roster. It's not like the Raiders roster. It's a good roster.
Right. We'll see what happens with the Jets. Yeah, I think it's a great roster, and I think with the right leadership, this could turn around pretty quickly. Don't forget about, the horses they have in the backfield. Garrett Wilson's still in town. He still hasn't been traded yet.
Yeah.
So we'll see if they hold on to him. I have kind of a wild idea for you about Breece Hall. I don't know. Let me know if you're on board with this. I would trade Breece Hall. Because he has an injury history. I don't think you're going to compete anytime soon. I think you're in a I think you're rebuilding more than ready to compete. And Breece Hall has an injury history and a rebuild. And so to me, that's playing with fire. You have a guy who I think is going to potentially have a short shelf life, has shown he's good, not great. Like he has moments where he's been good. Like that rookie year was great. Last year, he's okay. I don't know if he was their best runner last year. I think it was Braylon Allen behind him. But I wonder if with Braylon Allen being there, you go shop Breece Hall. And I'm not saying Breece Hall won't be good somewhere else, but maybe you kind of kick the can down the road a little bit with assets, and you get maybe you get a first or a second and a nice player, something like that. And you kind of kickstart this rebuild even a little more. And you have 21-year-old Braylon Allen back there, who I think is every bit the prospect that Breece Hall was.
I'm gonna stop you there. I've been on the Jets forever for keeping talented players. I'm not gonna ever tell them to get rid of talented players. Yeah, he was injured his first year, but he wasn't hurt last year. And last year, I mean, he had a decent year, but you could blame that on coaching. You could blame that on whatever. There's a lot of things that went wrong last year. If I'm the Jets, I'm not getting rid of talent. I'm not getting rid of talent for draft picks that could not even you. At least Breece Hall is a good running back. Like at least that. Like you don't get rid of good players for draft picks when you're a rebuild. And he's not old. He's 20. He's 23, 24. He's not an old running back.
How old is Breece Hall? Let me see.
Yeah, he's what year? This is year. He's going to year 3. Yeah, I don't know. I get the mindset. Like, let's push the can down. Let's get the can down the road, get more draft picks. But if I'm the Jets, I'm trying to keep Garrett Wilson's, the Breece Halls, those players that you drafted and are good. You just haven't seen them pop yet. But no, I'm not in the business of trading good players if you're a bad team.
Yeah, he's 4 years in.
Players.
He's 4 years in. When the season starts, he'll be 24. So he is still young. I just a thought, because I think Braylon Allen brings us to the table at least. I think you at least have to consider it, because you have a young horse back there who's Breece Hall's 24, super young. Braylon Allen is 4 years younger. 4 years younger. It's wild. So I think you have to at least have the conversation, because you have an asset behind him where it might allow you to do something like this and not get rid of talent, but allocate talent to another part of your roster where you have a weakness. Less holes, better roster. That's all I'm saying. I'll leave it at that, though. Okay, next. Sorry, you have one more thing? You want to tie that up?
No. They also have a nice third running back. I'm forgetting the guy's name. Davis, right? Last year they used him. So to your point, I mean,
white guy.
If they like those 3 guys, maybe we don't need 3 of them. We see 2 of them. So
All right, let's move this thing on to the Miami Dolphins. This was my team to take over. Miami Dolphins has less than $1 million in projected cap space, but there's a ton of stuff they can do to open up a lot of room. Looking into this, they can cut Bradley Chubb, and that alone could save $19 million. He's coming off a really bad knee injury. Armstead inexplicably said, "I'm going to pass on that $24 million. Give me $1 million." But looking into it, I guess he's contemplating retirement, and he's not ready to make a decision yet, and he wants to give the team all the room it has all the room it needs to make different moves and make this roster better. And then if he does come back, I'm guessing there's some kind of handshake deal, like, we'll find you money at the end, big dog, if you want to come back. So either way, I mean, I know you're a little more skeptical. You think it's a little more shady business going on here?
Yeah, Miami's always been a team late in the last couple of years to do shady shit.
They're a check in the mail?
Yeah, there's a big envelope in the mail that's not labeled or sealed. But but good for the Dolphins for getting this guy to agree. And I want to see what the NFLPA has to say about this, because this is just a major pay cut. Like, you're supposed to be able to protect the players.
So Bradley Chubb, $19 million. Instead of doing that, it's going to save him about $16 million on the cap. And then if they restructure Zyler, Tua Tagovailoa, and Austin Jackson, that's another $31 million. So there's plenty of room here for them to make improvements to this roster. First off, I think you got to re-sign your stud safety. There's not a lot of blue chip talent on this team anymore. People have gotten hurt. People have gotten traded away. And Javon Holland's one of the few players that you drafted, is in his prime, and now he's set to leave. Don't let that happen again. Sign this guy. Give him what he wants. He's projected 4 years, $60 million. I give him that in a heartbeat. I think he's a stud. I think it's something for your defense to be built around going forward. And I think safeties are always a good investment. I think they're a lot of times great defenses have great safeties. You think about the Eagles just won the Super Bowl. How many times did we talk about C.J. Gardner-Johnson and Cooper DeJean playing some of that safety role? Like, it's just it matters. I think you re-sign this guy, you don't blink twice, right?
No, yeah, you sign him like immediately. Last year he had a down year, but let's not forget about his first 3 years where he was a very, very good safety. And like I said, I'm not in the business of letting players walk if they're good. You sign them, keep them, and just figure it out after that. And obviously, the cap space can be manipulated. Cap space is such a fake thing to be scared of. Like, they can work their way around it. Keep Holland. He's a very, very good safety. And don't believe me, go look at the deals that teams would give him in the open market. People would give him a lot to come play safety for them. So, absolutely. I mean, yeah, I would definitely keep him.
Moving on here, and I'll group these two guys together because the Miami Dolphins had the worst win rate against pass rush last year, and their guards were an issue. And I know Robert Jones was on the team last year. He dealt with some injuries. I do still think he's a good player. I'm not sure if you sign Javon Holland to that size contract, it is going to take off a significant part of that cap space. And so I'm going to splurge on one guy and kind of be modest about the second guy. The first guy coming over from San Francisco is Aaron Banks, guard. I think he's solid. I think he's just going to be a presence there in the middle of your line for a couple of years and not hurt you. And he's better in run protection than pass protection. And I like Aaron Banks here to start.
Yeah, and obviously there's a connection. Obviously, McDaniel and Shanahan run the same type of offense. So yeah, that's a nice, easy fit too.
And then Robert Jones, you bring back. You hope he's healthy, but he's pretty cheap. 3 years, $10 million for a second guard. I think that's a good place to land there. He knows the offense, familiarity with McDaniel, and just like that, you got Robert Jones and Aaron Banks, which is worlds better than it was last year. And then a familiar name you might recognize here that we just talked about. I like Justin Fields of Miami Dolphins. If it's not Justin Fields, Dolphins need to bring in some quarterback. It's time to be realistic. Tua is just a play away, and they all are plays away. But Tua seems like closer to being out for the season. Just the concussions are a real issue, especially when you factor in that he doesn't really seem too concerned with protecting himself. He kind of is defiant of his own body telling him to chill out. And so for that reason, I think you need to bring in a quality backup quarterback here. And why not go for Justin Fields? You're telling me you don't want to see an offense with Mike McDaniel's creativity and Justin Fields with Devin Achane back there, all that speed, Jalen Wright, Tyreek Hill, Jalen Waddle, so much speed on the field. Justin Fields, I think, would be a good fit here. And he'd have a real chance to play this year.
Yeah, if you could just sell him on the idea without being a douche about it. Hey, any second you could be the guy. You could be like the guy to lead a team into the playoffs, or you might not play at all. That's gonna be a tough sell. I think for that, I would pay him a little. I would cut a lot of players. If you get Fields on a bigger deal, maybe pay him way more than maybe pay him $20 million. I don't even care. If you have that as a backup quarterback, that's better than most backup quarterbacks. There's not quarterbacks like that or backups that you can say, yeah, he actually could be a starter for most teams, but he's a backup for us.
Not to mention it with one eye on the future as well. If Tua doesn't start getting it done here, and let alone his injuries, you have to start thinking okay, we might need to change some things up here. Unless Mike McDaniel's just going to go down with Tua Tagovailoa and just be okay with that. I think Justin Fields maybe as a prospect for the future makes sense for the Dolphins as well. And I think he looked pretty cool in that Dolphins uniform.
Yeah. It's probably the best case scenario. Obviously, this is where doing the best case scenarios. Yeah, best case scenario, they get Fields. That's a very, very good team with or without Tua.
Yeah, Mike McDaniel offense, I think by a casual fan, you would think he's this high fly, throw the ball everywhere type offensive coordinator, offensive play caller, and he's really not. This team has been elite at running the ball ever since Mike McDaniel got there. Raheem Mostert, now Devin Achane. Like we've seen guys cycle in and just be good just because of the scheme. And so I think Justin Fields is a good fit there. My draft pick is defensive end Mike Green. Mike Green, think prospect like you would know Nick Bonito. He's a pass rushing specialist. He's a sack artist. I'm not saying body type or measurables or anything like that. But as far as like what kind of guy I'm bringing onto my team, how does he impact the team? He's a sack artist. That's what he does. I think he's going to be good at that right away. And the Dolphins have had terrible luck with their edges, just getting hurt. Jalen Phillips. I mean, a lot of these guys, they just are going down with major injuries. I think you got to restock the cupboards here, and I think Mike Green's a good guy to do it.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, you in this scenario, you cut Bradley Chubb, so you don't want to lose talent out of position and just not fill it, or at least try to fill it. And and the first round, and like any team, you can never get too much pass rushers. Like you always just stack them. Look at Philadelphia Eagles. Like look what they did this year. They have about 4 or 5 guys they trust rushing the passer. So that's yeah. So yeah.
Sports fans, are you ready to take your passion for the game to the next level? Introducing BETR Picks, the ultimate way to play fantasy sports and win big. With BETR Picks, you can unleash your skills by picking more or less of your favorite players' stats. And guess what? You can win up to 2,000 times your entry. That's right. Just imagine turning a small play into a huge payday. BETR makes it easy, exciting, and rewarding to participate. It's available in 33 states, including the great state of California, covering a wide range of sports like NFL, NBA, MLB, and so much more. Whether you're a diehard sports fan or just getting started, BETR Picks has something for everyone. And here's the best part. When you sign up using our promo code BENCH, that's BNCHD, you'll get a first entry match up to $250, win or lose, plus a free pick to get you started. Don't miss out on this amazing opportunity to elevate your game. Click the link in the description, download the app, and join the action today. Make sure you enter our promo code BENCH during registration to claim your bonus. It's time to play, predict, and win only with BETR Picks. Okay, we are back with the perfect offseason episode featuring the NFC East. Let's go Patriots Bills, right? That work for you?
Yeah.
All right. So our next one is the New England Patriots. This was my team to overhaul here. The New England Patriots with $128 million. I tell you what, that was fun money to spend. I had a good time building up this roster. I'm going to get started with someone who just seems like a Patriot to me. This seems like an old school Patriot to me. Nick Bolton, linebacker from the Kansas City Chiefs, multiple, champion. I think it'd be cool just to see him go from the Chiefs, the current dynasty, to try to start a new dynasty with the New England Patriots. I think that'd be cool to see. I'm thinking Teddy Bruschi. Mike Vrabel, by the way, the new coach there, was a linebacker. You better believe he wants his captain, green dot linebacker here. I think Nick Bolton is the big signing for the Patriots. They have a leader now on defense. Christian Gonzalez over there. And get a couple pieces back there, and I think you're starting to cook with Nick Bolton. Do you like it?
Yeah, Bolton anywhere. I love Bolton anywhere. He can play.
I know, right?
He can play for the Raiders.
Where does he not fit?
Yeah, he fits everywhere. He's young, and if Vrabel can sell him on, hey, this defense isn't, and that defense isn't that bad. That defense is not that bad. Like that, they have pieces there. I think Bentley's the other middle linebacker there. So those two kind of thumpers there. Yeah, I put him in the middle. And Vrabel's always had a tough guy defense, and Bolton is a tough guy. So yeah, it's a great fit. And
the next one here,
literally whatever he wants, whatever you want, dude, come over here and play with us.
Yep, that's a beauty of New England Patriots this year. Is they have so much space, they can do whatever they want, and it was a lot of fun. My next signing here is a tackle, Alaric Johnson from the LA Rams. Another guy the Rams just gonna say, see ya. Don't do much on this team. Alaric Johnson was an undrafted player, worked his way up to be the starting left tackle, did a great job for the last couple of years protecting Matthew Stafford's blind side. I think now he comes to the New England Patriots as their cornerstone left tackle to protect another young up-and-coming quarterback, Drake May. Alaric Johnson here to the Patriots, and you got to get some juice into that O-line for sure.
Yeah, he's better than what they had last year. Besides Omenwa, whatever the hell his name is, big number 71. Not a lot of guys that you can. I know last year David Andrews not being there hurt them a lot up the middle. So yeah, just start building that slope. It's not gonna be next year. You're not gonna fix it next year, but start throwing assets at it. And this is a very good tackle. So yeah.
Yeah. And not on this list. There's a lot of guards available, not only in free agency but also the draft. So you could, I think, some smaller pieces as well. But there's so many big pieces that you can add. I didn't have room for them on my list. The next one is go right to the other side of the line and throw every bit of money you have at Milton Williams. Bring Milton Williams into town. Now you've done the same thing that you've done for your offense with the cornerstone of Alec Johnson. Now you have that on the defensive side with Milton Williams, the Philadelphia Eagles. I'm starting to think the guy's just going to be priced out for the Eagles. I think someone's going to back up the Brinks truck for him. Projected here for 336. I think he blows that out of the water. I think D tackles get paid. And I think Milton Williams is going to be paid. He's by far the best as far as like age. He's 25 years old. 25 years old. You can sign him 4 years and know in that fourth year, he's still going to be playing very high level ball. Like he'll still get another contract after this.
Yeah, and one offseason, you've gotten two cornerstones, Nick Bolton and Milton Williams, both 24, 25 years old, both in their prime or about to be in their prime, which is crazy. And then you put them with Vrabel, who's always had a good defense. Maybe Milton Williams even gets better because remember how the success. I'm not saying they're the same player, but Jeffrey Simmons, Titans the end. He thrived under Vrabel, so maybe Milton Williams even has even more to live up to. Yeah, it's
by the way, keep an eye on some of these Tennessee Titan veterans who have Harold Landry was just given permission to seek a trade. Keep an eye on Harold Landry to the New England Patriots. Jeffrey Simmons, you just mentioned, keep an eye on him to the Patriots. I think Kevin Byard's still out there. Keep an eye on him. I would keep an eye on all these ex-Titans going to – they love playing for Vrabel. They love the guy. Everyone loved him in the room. Let's move on here to a big one. I don't know how you're going to like this. I know this is your boy. But I also know Drake May's your boy. Yeah. How about the marriage of George Pickens and Drake May? You might be thinking, why the hell would the Steelers want to send off the best player they have on offense? George Pickens is in a contract year. Mm-hmm. It's time to decide, am I going to sign this guy for top-notch money? And he's going to want top-notch money. I don't care that he hasn't produced the way the top receivers have in the league. He's just going to blame that on quarterbacks, and he's going to want to get paid like, I don't know if it's going to be like a Jamar Chase, but anywhere from like A.J. Brown to like, I don't know, like Jalen Waddle. Like he's going to be in there.
25 to 31-ish. Yeah.
And the Steelers, I don't know if they're going to do that. The Steelers have shown, like, number one, we can draft wide receivers. Number two, we don't really pay head cases.
Yeah.
Head jobs. That's not the right word. Well, we don't really pay head cases. So I think a trade here
probably did at some point.
I think I'm not going to touch that. I think you go knock in here to Pittsburgh and you say, listen, is George Pickens available? We will gladly take him, and we will pay him right when we trade for him. And I think with $128 million, is that the most financially responsible thing to do? No, but you have $128 million. That's the beauty of it. You can leverage that and use it to bring in George Pickens, and now you have wide receiver one for Drake May, who I love. I love Drake May. I love what he did last year with next to nothing. Name 4 receivers on the Patriots. I bet you can't. You probably can, but if you're listening, you probably can't. And so I think bring George Pickens into the fold right away. Bingo, bango. And then just as if let's do that first. How do you feel about George Pickens?
I like Pickens. This is probably the best quarterback he's ever played with, which is crazy. No, Fields is pretty good. It would be between him and Fields. But I trust Vrabel to more than I trust Tomlin to kind of harness in this guy who's kind of an oddball. He's a weirdo, but he's productive. But you don't know whether it's him being a weirdo that's causing him not to have 1,400-yard seasons, or the fact that they have Russell Wilson and Mason Rudolph throwing the ball the last 3 years. So, yeah, I think any wideout you could sell me on the Patriots because they're so bad at wideout. Any wideout. You could look at Marquise Brown, I'd be A+. But Pickens obviously has the ceiling that most players don't. Like some players you watch Pickens, you're like, that's one of the best catches I've ever seen. He has incredible catches. I think put him in a nice system, put him with Vrabel and rebuilding that culture over there. Yeah, I think nice fit.
George Pickens, I'm trying to get age here. I think he's just 25 or something like that.
Yeah, he's not old. He's been relevant for a while at a very young
I'll do you
age.
one better. He's 23.
He's still young, man. Yeah, I think it. Yeah, Pickens on the Patriots give Drake May a legit number one, and then you go and keep on drafting wideouts or whatever, and yeah.
And with my draft pick here, I think just a cherry on top to the season, you bring in Travis Hunter. You don't need a wide receiver one anymore. You have George Pickens, so you don't have to throw all that load on Travis Hunter. And I think we both think the same in that aspect of I don't care which side he plays. I don't care if he plays both sides. He just can't be CB1 and wide receiver one. That might be too much to ask from a rookie. So make him wide receiver 2 next to George Pickens, who, funny enough, he looks like he's built like George Pickens. I think Travis Hunter soaking wet is like 190 maybe. But obviously plays with great strength. He's a great wide receiver. I think Mel Kiper said if he was just a wide receiver, he would be wide receiver 1 in this year's draft. And if he was just a cornerback, he'd be cornerback 1 in this draft. I think he goes here number 4 to the New England Patriots. He doesn't need to be CB1. They got Christian Gonzalez there too. And so you have him just being able to float back and forth and just be a playmaker. You don't got to guard the best receiver in the other team, and you don't got to go against the best cornerback on the offensive side either. Just go and be a mismatch on either side against the second best, and I think it's a great landing spot for him. I love Vrabel's ability to use him. What do you think about Travis Hunter as the cherry on top to this really magical Patriot offseason I gave him?
Yeah, this is a fun team because they have so much cap room. So this is what you can do. But yeah, I think you're right. Christian Gonzalez is the top 3, top 5 cornerback. You can really argue that he's very good. And then you have Marcus Jones, nickel cornerback. So you don't really need him in nickel. Just go over there and play against the second, third best wideout.
Yep.
And be very good at it. And then go on the opposite side, and you have in this scenario, you have Pickens, you have who's to take the number 1 corner. Go play against the number 2 corner, and go play with Drake May, and go play at a role on both sides where it's not all on you to do every single thing, where you can just be a playmaker, which is what he was in college football. He's a playmaker. He's like one of those guys, those prospects that like just put him on the field and something is going to happen. And with the Patriots, they've never had this kind of talent before at wideout, or they've had the talent since freaking Edelman left. They've never had a wideout. Even if they don't get George Pickens, even if they just get Travis Hunter, the best wideout they've had in the last 5 years. So yeah,
I mean, name the last time they had a duo as good as Pickens and Travis Hunter, and that's I'm honestly trying to think myself here.
It'd be like
who was
Edelman,
Randy Moss's running mate?
It was Welker, and then you had like the Amendola, what's it called? The Amendola. Wow, I forgot his name. Edelman, Brandon Cooks era. But then they had Gronk sprinkled in there, So they've been weird about pass catchers,
another trade candidate that I originally had in this spot here, but they have tight ends. I think a sneaky trade candidate for any team that needs a tight end, Dallas Goedert. Dallas Goedert is now older than Zach Ertz was when the Eagles let him go. And so it definitely could happen. He has a $12 million cap hit next year for the Eagles. I almost put Dallas Goedert here, and I would have if they didn't have Hunter.
Yeah.
But a lot of fun. Thank you for giving me the Patriots. I had an amazing time. All right, that wraps up for the New England Patriots. I think if they have this kind of offseason with Mike Vrabel, number one, they're one of the most hyped teams going into this next season. And I think they are a contender for a division here. I think they're giving the Bills a run for their money. And, I think they're immediately better than the Dolphins and the Jets with this kind of offseason. Patriots, I hope they just go for it like this. Maybe not these guys. I just hope they have this mentality of we're going to go throw money at elite players this offseason and build around Drake May. Next, we have the Buffalo Bills, led by, of course, Josh Allen, newly affianced Josh Allen. Congratulations. At least not Josh Allen. Yeah. Negative $12 million in cap space, but tell us how that can get much better very quickly.
Yeah, so obviously starting off negative 12, you look for these aging players with injury histories, and they have 2 guys that are just kind of glaring injury history guys that have been pillars before, but not anymore. So you cut Von Miller post June 1st, you save 17.4. You cut Matt Milano, back-to-back years of big injuries. I think he's 33 years old. I think it's his time. That saves you 9.6. That gives you $27 million. That puts him right back in the batter's box for like free agents. So I think, look, Matt Milano's a great.
Not to mention, I'll just say real quick, cap space going up about 25 million.
Yeah, just Milano has 2 years of major injuries, and where you have young guys like Bernard and Williams there at linebacker, so you can already see what it could be. So I think this time you just turn the page. I don't. And this is a team that let Micah Hyde go and Poyer in the same year. So this is not a heartless team. This is just a business. I think in the business of football, Milano and Von Miller are kind of guys that get cut. He gained $27 million in cap space and try to start over a little bit. With that being said, kicking off here, I put this guy on every team because he's like a veteran safety that won't cost you a lot of money. Justin Simmons there. Obviously, last year, Damar Hamlin, superstar Damar Hamlin, comeback player of the year candidate every year. Damar Hamlin, he's gone. Taylor Rapp was out most of last year. So I think you start just throwing assets at this safety room that's cheap and also not like completely washed. I think Simmons is gonna be a lot of teams go-tos because he's gonna be so cheap. Maybe even $2 million to get Justin Simmons. So you go get him, and then you go take a chance on defensive end Chase Young. Look, last year, top 20 in pass rush win rate and pressure on quarterbacks. Had a decent year in New Orleans, and it's kind of a guy where it's kind of like it's a buy low because Chase Young obviously in his prime is a disruptive player. I'm not sure if he's a sack guy. But he's a disruptive player. I think putting him next to Rasu, like put him in a rotation. I think that's kind of where he'll fit best. Put him in a new locker room, a new environment. I think that's a nice spot for him. And then cornerback Nate Hobbs. I think in this scenario, I let Douglas go, and Nate Hobbs reminds me a lot of Douglas. He's a playmaker. He plays a little bit nickel. He plays a little bit outside. He's just an underrated player that the Raiders have, and hasn't been shown because he plays for the Raiders. I think Hobbs there. Pair him with Teron Johnson, and then you still have you still have secondary there like Rapp's coming back. Then you have Bernard who had a breakout year last year. I think Hobbs and that will kind of give you a nice young core. And I think it's time to turn the page on this old kind of realm of Bills players. Last year or 2 years ago, Hyde, Poyer gone. This year, Milano, Von Miller gone. Start getting younger there. It's not you're not trying to play. At this point, you're just trying to make the pieces go. Whatever pieces will make you work to beat the Chiefs. So I think there's a little bit more of a redo there on the defensive side. And then my big splash trade test deal for them, trade for wide receiver DK Metcalf. I think last year you kind of found out you need alpha. You need someone who you can just rely on third down in the red zone, wherever, where he can just go out there and make a play. And Metcalf is like the AJ Brown guy without having Jalen Hurts as his quarterback. You always think that he could be more, but he doesn't, and because he never had a quarterback like Josh Allen ever. So I think pairing with Josh Allen, who have a career year, he's already had a 1,400 or 1,300 yard season in his career, so he's already he's capable of that. He's a physical freak. I think pair him with Shakir, with Kincaid. I think they all start to fall into place. I think they put too much on Kincaid last year, and that's why he had a bad year. Shakir's the only guy on that roster. I'm like, put him in. They obviously signed him for a big money deal like yesterday. So put him, Metcalf, Kincaid, Knox, and you have James Cook obviously in the backfield. You've kind of made your pass catching room in 2 years from Gabe Davis, Stephon Diggs, and whatever running backs you had to Metcalf, James Cook, and Kincaid. And you have these guys. I think this is my offseason view for them is get younger without losing talent, and I think this is the exact way to do it.
Yeah, DK Metcalf to the Bills would shake the NFL at its core, and I'm all for it. I think that'd be awesome. I think he'd play well up there. He seems like a rugged guy, obviously a very physical player, nasty attitude. I think Josh Allen would love him. That's kind of how Josh Allen is as well. He's kind of a big bully type. And yeah, I do think you learned a hard lesson last year. Although I still think it was the right move to move on from Stephon Diggs. It was probably the best move to also replace him. And it also showed that maybe with someone better than like an Amari Cooper. You probably need someone a little better than that. I think DK Metcalf is that guy who can grow for the next couple of years with Josh Allen. The rest of the moves, I like them. I think this is where they're at. It's kind of like you just got to fill holes here and try to beat the Chiefs again. That's kind of what it's all about. We did see the blueprint for beating Mahomes in the playoffs is pressure, pressure, pressure. That's all that matters. Then with the 2 times he's lost in the Super Bowl, or the 2 times where he got absolutely harassed by the Bucs and the Eagles. And so I think restocking the defensive end with Chase Young, losing Von Miller, I think that's an upgrade at this point in their careers. Chase Young did show out last year, and hopefully you see him start to regain. I think best case scenario, he's like a Rashawn Gary type.
Yeah.
And as far as the veteran defensive backs here, I think that's what the Bills are nowadays. Just you got to keep patching it up, keep making it work. Let's talking about your draft pick here.
Yeah, Malachi Starks out of Georgia. You watch him play, and I don't want to put this on him because I'm about to compare him to a very, very good all-pro safety. He reminds me a little bit of Derwin James, where he kind of does a lot. He can play in the box. He can play deep safety. He could play in the nickel. He does a lot of things. Like watch him play. He does he's a sticky tackler. He's better in zone than he is man because he's safety. But I think you could put him in the box. He I think, you know, like I said earlier, losing Hyde, losing Poyer, he needed a little bit throw youth at this safety spot. And I think Malachi Starks is a stud. Hopefully he lasts till 30. If he does, this is a slam dunk pick because Malachi Starks is a very, very good safety. Watch him play. He's literally reminds me of Derwin James, where he plays everywhere. He can play nickel, deep safety, strong safety, is a playmaker, great tackler. Obviously played for Georgia, so played against SEC players.
Isn't he massive as well?
Yeah, he's a very and it's a safety type that the Bills have never had. They've never had this kind of safety where they've had these kind of like, you know, naturally classic safeties like Micah Hyde and Poyer, kind of like, you know, or even Rapp is like a, you know, center fielder can come up. I think Malachi Starks will give them a piece that they never had before, and that's a playmaking safety. No
6'1", 205. So not
big, but like he plays big, and that's why I like him here. He'll give him something that the Bills haven't had is a playmaking safety, like in the box, you know, whatever kind of safety. So I like him here at 30 if he lasts that long.
Yeah, Georgia Bulldog as well, which people are just in on Georgia prospects right now. I like Malachi Stark here. I think there's a lot of teams at the end of the first round that's going to be vying for Malachi Stark. I think I like it's early on, but type of player that you could see some teams get jumped for if he starts to slip, or just taken way earlier than people expect. I love him here to the Bills. I think the Bills would be ecstatic to get him and get some youth in that secondary to go with some of the veteran plug and plays you got here. I like we do with the Bills with very limited room. I think replacing Chase Young with Von Miller is upgrading. I think Matt Milano's replacements are already there, so I'm definitely cool with that. And you add DK to the mix with James Cook had a breakout year last year. Josh Allen had MVP season last year. It's just they're gonna eventually break through.
It's just they're gonna eventually
break through. Yeah. And I'm not pulling the alarm on the Chiefs, but they're gonna lose some pieces.
Mm-hmm. Mega pieces.
They're gonna lose some massive. Nick Bolton is gonna be gone. That's gonna hurt.
Justin Reed might be gone. Trey Smith
gone. Trishawn Wharton's going to be gone. Derek and Nandi's going to be gone.
Yep.
Chris Jones another year older. Like they're starting to lose some pieces here. How much longer is Spags going to go? Like I think it could be. We're going to have to see the Chiefs adapt here. We're going to have to see them adapt. We're going to have to see them progress, and there could be a door open. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah, and then this is and as the Chiefs get older, the Bills in this scenario get a lot younger and more explosive on both sides of the ball. Yeah, this is where you're trying to just different chess strategies here. Like, what if I move this guy first and this guy just to beat the Chiefs? And it's all about the Chiefs. Just beating the Chiefs again, get to the Super Bowl and see what happens.
Yep. So that's the perfect offseason for every AFC East team. That was surprisingly fun.
Yeah.
Like I wasn't too excited when I heard the AFC East. I'm like, it's just like it kind of feels like teams that are kind of just have been the same. But you got you got the Jets with a new regime there. You have the Patriots with the cap space and the young quarterback. You have the Dolphins with The Dolphins are probably the most boring team, to be honest.
Yeah.
But still some pieces there. And then of course the Bills are always fun. The AFC East that way.
You know what we haven't done? Let's play out these scenarios. Say all 4 of these scenarios happen. Obviously, some of them are overlapping. But Fields to the Dolphins and to the Jets. Say Fields goes to the Jets. Rank this division.
So Bills, I don't think any of these teams did enough to take over the Bills.
Yeah.
I do think the Patriots are
the Jets. The Jets kind of are my sleeper team. I don't know why.
Jets and Patriots are going to duke it out next year.
Yeah.
So I think with Drake May, I think that changes the equation.
Yeah.
Like Drake May, I think might already be the second best quarterback in the division, depending on what you think of Tua. And so I might have. God, that's tough. That's tough.
I don't think I'm Drake May over Tua yet, but it's getting there.
Tua's just
availability. Like
availability, and then it's just also like people have to learn to start grading quarterbacks and not about whether they're good, but when are they good?
Yeah.
Like at what time of the game, at what point are they good? And Tua, I think, just doesn't check that box for me. But I probably just to answer your question, I go Bills. I'll give it to the Jets for now. I think overall better roster. Jets, Patriots, Dolphins.
Yeah, I would go Bills. I want the Dolphins to be good, but they're not going to be good. They'll be okay. So I'll pick the Bills, Jets, Patriots, Dolphins.
Yeah. That's our show for today.
Patriots, Jets. Oh, Patriots, Jets. Switch it. Sorry. Patriots, Jets.
All right, that's our show for today. Episode 220 in the books. The perfect offseason for the AFC East. That was a lot of fun. We will be back on Friday with a brand new episode previewing the AFC South. Ooh. AFC South on Friday's show. Should be a lot of fun. And we will see you then. Thanks for joining again. Download BETR Picks app. Use our code. See ya.
Peace.